Hi, how are you doing today?
Good, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. So first off, my name's Jordan. I'm a counselor here at JNF Counseling Services.
Okay.
How are you doing today?
Good, how are you?
Good, thank you. So just before we start our session, I do have to read a confidentiality agreement, and you can agree to it or not agree to it. It's really up to you, and then we'll go from there if that's fine. Yeah? Okay. So for the confidentiality agreement, all interactions which take place in the setting of therapy are considered confidential. This includes requests by telephone, all interactions with this counselor, which would be myself, any scheduling or appointment notes, all session content recordings, and any progress notes that I take during the session. I will not even verify that you are a client of mine. You may choose to give me permission in writing to release any or specific information about you to any person or agency that you desire. That's okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so with the confidentiality agreement, there are some limits in which I may need to break the disclosure of confidentiality. So there is going to be 6 reasons why. Okay, so the first one, in some legal proceedings, a judge may issue a court order that would require this counselor to testify in court. Second reason, if I learn or believe that there is physical or sexual abuse or neglect of any person under 18 years of age, I must report this information to Child Services. If I learn or believe that an elderly person or disabled person is being abused or neglected, I must file a report with the appropriate agency. If I learn or believe that you are threatening serious harm to another person, I must report this. If there's evidence that you may be in danger of harming yourself or somebody else, I do have to report that. And other than that, those would be the only reasons I would have to break the confidentiality, but I don't see that being a problem. We'll just have to go about our counseling session if that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine by you?
Yep, I agree.
Okay, perfect. So we'll start off by your name, tell me what you do, and kind of a little bit about yourself.
My name is Dana. I'm 22 years old.
Okay.
I'm a hairstylist in town.
Oh, nice. What salon are you working at?
Moxie Salon and Spa.
Nice. How long you been there?
About a year and a half, I guess.
Oh yeah. How's it been with the pandemic?
It's been slow, but better now that things are starting to get better and open up a bit.
No.
And more clients are comfortable coming back to get their hair done, so.
How are you feeling about it with kind of COVID and everything, working in a salon with people every day?
Better. A lot are vaccinated, like I am myself, but it doesn't really bother me if people aren't or not. It is their choice.
Do they require it if you're a client in this salon or no?
Not at this time, no.
No? Okay. What else about you?
I live at home still.
Okay.
And I have a dog that I like to walk a lot.
Nice. What's his or her name?
Harley.
Harley? And how old's Harley?
8.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What else about yourself? What like do you do during maybe your free time or on the weekends when you're not working?
Just to like relax because I'm working and busy all week.
Yeah. Okay. How many days a week would you say you work?
Probably 4 or 5.
4 or 5 days, yeah. It's quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So now we'll maybe kind of go into like maybe the reason why you're here today.
Yeah. I have a drinking issue.
Okay.
It's been going on for a couple of years now.
Okay. And do you feel that it's impacting your day-to-day life at all?
Yeah. I don't work as much as I used to because of that.
Okay.
And someone from work sent me here, but I don't really know why.
Okay.
Because I don't see it being an issue. Other people see that.
So you don't feel like on like a day-to-day basis it's really impacting you?
Not really, no. So used to everything, it's just the same.
But your maybe friends and family kind of see that as a problem?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any reason why you think they may have sent or recommended you come here?
To get better and to stop having a drinking problem.
Okay. You said it's going on for how long now?
A couple of years now.
Okay. Maybe like in what aspects of your life, if you kind of, I know like you're not really up for the change right now, so that would be kind of in the pre-contemplative stage, which we use in like the stage of changes in therapy. So you're not really open to change, but you're kind of here, you're listening, which is always the first step.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of just being here and being open with somebody and maybe talking about it. If you think about your alcohol use, how many times a week do you think you would typically use alcohol?
Probably every day.
Every day. Is it like, if you had to think of like a reason why that you drink almost every day, is there something that's impacting it to make you want to, or does it feel good, or what was your reason behind it being?
Just kind of feels good. No like bad reason. And then I just got so used to it. It's become a habit and like an everyday thing that I'm used to in my life.
So you said it happened. So you're saying it happened roughly 2 years ago, kind of like the start of when the pandemic happened.
Yeah.
How has the pandemic really impacted your life?
When we stopped working the first few times with the lockdowns, it just became like a thing of drinking, and the more and more it happened.
No. And how long were you off work then?
A couple of months, like 3 or 4 months. And then back and forth.
Because I know we've had, I think, three lockdowns at this point for maybe 4 months at a pace. Because hairstyling wasn't one of the first things that reopened, was it?
I know, it was the last thing that opened.
Okay, and how did you feel about that? Not being able to go to work every day?
It was hard. Because you weren't able to do a lot. Because everything was shut down, so you were just stuck at home.
No.
Or outside or whatever.
Yeah.
So it wasn't that exciting.
Is hairstyling something that you've always wanted to do?
Yeah, for a long time since I was a kid.
Yeah, start with maybe like Barbies and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of having that taken away is probably pretty tough.
Yeah.
Can you see that maybe not being able to work and do what you want to do has maybe caused you to get to this point maybe?
A little bit. Like every time we get a lockdown, I just would rely on it, I guess, and just go back to drinking.
No.
And then it just became like more of a problem than a thing to do.
It's more of like, is it kind of like first nature? Like you can't kind of come home, just pour yourself a drink, or is it,
yeah,
I feel stressed, I just need a drink?
Kind of both, I guess.
Yeah.
Like with not working and not making money.
Did you have any like government help through the pandemic?
Yeah, a little bit to help.
And you said you're still living at home, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you pay rent when you're at home?
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you pay usually?
$400.
It's not too bad.
No.
So the money that you were making kind of from the government to kind of help you out, that did help a little bit.
Yeah.
So if if the drinking started maybe 2 years ago, or I'm just gonna take some notes while we're talking about it, if that's okay with you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you're saying that it started 2 years ago? At the beginning of the pandemic, right? Yeah. Over the course of the last 2 years, would you say that your habits have gotten worse? Were like when you first started, like when the pandemic first happened, was it a drink every day, or did it start off with maybe 2 or 3 drinks a week, and then it just progressed into everyday drinking, or how did that work?
More of like over time an everyday thing.
So when the pandemic first happened, it wasn't every day?
No.
Okay. And do you see it impacting, like, because you've been off for like say 4 months at a time and then back to work? How do you feel like when you go back to work? Are you still drinking every day?
Yeah.
Or is it cut back at all that you're back at work? Sorry, fix that.
Probably like the same.
So would you say before work or after work? What usually happens?
After work if I was working.
Okay.
But now that it's become more of an issue, I haven't been letting go, but just like they give me time off to kind of get things together, I guess.
So like they see that there's an issue going on. Yeah. Okay, I'll write that down as well. And you discussed finances. How much, maybe a week, do you think you spend on alcohol?
Probably close to $100 to $200.
$200. So maybe like we'll say 150. Saying 100 to 200. $150 a week. So then, you maybe look at that over like the course of like, have you sat down at all and just kind of like thought out like, this is how much I'm spending a month? Do you kind of realize that it's adding up at the end of the month? So you say like
Yeah, but I don't really care about that. It's just.
It's more about getting the feeling of the alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so that's like roughly $900 a month. So maybe even if you're not open to the change right now, maybe just start being more aware of what is going on in your life, and because you are still living at home, so maybe like in the future you're gonna want to move out with a boyfriend or whoever else. You're gonna want to have your own space, and that's a lot of money, right? Every month.
Yeah.
Um,
And my mom right now doesn't like me drinking, and she isn't doing much. She's not really supporting me
not supporting you how? Like,
because it's hard to pay my rent, and she can afford without my help of rent.
okay.
So
Is that so it wouldn't, in terms of like you paying rent and obviously I guess kind of her being like your landlord, even though she's your mom, like that money's still gonna help the $400 a month. Um, in just the mother-daughter relationship, how were things kind of before the pandemic, and then how have they maybe gotten worse during the course of the pandemic?
it was okay during the beginning, and then
Like
the more
like as a child, like you think maybe from like a child to you're 22 now, you said, so stay from a child to 20, like how was your relationship with your mom?
it was fine.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you guys got along well.
Yeah, I say for the most part.
You guys got along well. What kind of things were you guys interested in doing together, if there was anything?
Just the normal walks and movies and stuff like that.
Okay, do you have a favorite memory maybe with her that you enjoyed doing?
Not that I can think of.
No, that's okay, no worries. Is there anything that you can think of that maybe there's something that you'd want to go out and maybe do with your mom? Any type of like vacation or like a movie or anything that you can think of?
Yeah, maybe like a vacation down the road if things ever got better.
Okay. So maybe you mentioned vacation. Maybe that can be one of your goals in the next year or two. You can look at that. Because even if you think about like in terms of money, if you're spending almost $900 a month, like that could get you probably a pretty good vacation.
Mm-hmm.
So if you like you slowly cut back, you can kind of realize how much money that you can save every month to put towards a vacation.
Yeah.
So you talked about your relationship with her before maybe the alcohol and the pandemic, and how is it now? Maybe from the beginning of the pandemic to kind of where we're at today.
The beginning of the pandemic was okay.
Okay.
It didn't help when I couldn't afford to give rent anymore because of the money I've been spending on the alcohol.
Okay. So you stopped paying rent altogether. Okay. So obviously she wasn't happy about that at all. Okay. Was there any repercussions for you not paying rent? Did she say like, "Oh, I don't want you living here anymore"? Did it ever get to that point, or is it just disappointment?
Kind of both, I guess. Like, if I can't pay rent in a couple of months, then she said I'll have to find another place to live.
And do you have any idea kind of where you go at that point?
No, probably a shelter or something.
Okay, so obviously we wouldn't want to see it get to that point. So if you kind of look at in terms of when you first, so you look at your kind of relationship before, like, so you said it was okay, like it wasn't the greatest relationship. So like obviously the goal would be, I'll just fix this screen right here. Obviously the goal would be to like, you'd want, like as a child and parent, like you want to get the relationship to keep going from a child to codependent, and then eventually you want to be solely independent. You want to kind of do your own thing, but now it's kind of taking a step back with the drinking. So yeah, we'll maybe try and make that a goal with even with your mom. Like just try and maybe once a week, try and maybe get out and do something with her, and maybe that could try and better your relationship. And then you could talk. Have you ever talked to her about your problems with alcohol, or is it something that?
Not really.
No. Is it something that you would talk to her about?
Maybe, but because of the relationship we're in right now, probably not.
So you really don't feel comfortable talking to her?
No.
Okay.
I also had like a partner, but because of the drinking problem, he left.
Okay. So tell me more about the relationship, or how long were you guys together?
Just a couple of years, but because of how bad the drinking problem got, he didn't want to deal with it and like the outcome of things.
And did he mention to you that he sees it being a problem, or he just kind of took off?
Yeah, he's seen it being a problem, and he told me. but it got to the point where he didn't want to be around that anymore.
Okay. Did you ever try to make any adjustments or changes, like to kind of hopefully save the relationship or make it any better?
I tried, but it was all more talk than actually doing. So.
You'd say you're gonna cut back.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. So we've looked at a couple like maybe key areas in your life. So we'll kind of go back through everything. So just to kind of readdress everything that we've talked about so far. So it roughly happened like 2.5 years ago, kind of when the pandemic happened. You're still living at home with your mom, maybe paying $400 or so a month.
Mm-hmm.
You did see your, like going through it now, you've seen your drinking kind of progressively got worse. During like the course of like the lockdowns or whatever it was the government was calling it, you started drinking and then it slowly did progressively get worse. I just want to make sure I kind of have everything written down well. And now that you've kind of gone back to work, the drinking really hasn't cut down. It's kind of stayed the same. Okay. So you said you spend about maybe $150 a week, $900 a month.
Yeah.
Okay. Relationship with your mom was okay, but it has obviously gotten worse. One of your goals was maybe go on a vacation with her, do something with her. Do you have any brothers and sisters?
No.
No? Okay. During the time of when the drinking first started, you stopped paying rent? Okay. Are you paying rent now at this point, 2 years later?
At first I was, but now that it's gotten worse and I don't have a lot of money, I can't afford it to pay rent.
Okay. And you said you don't really feel too comfortable talking to your mom about this. Do you have any friends and family in your life that you do feel open to talking to this about?
Not really, because they just see how bad it is and they don't want anything to do with it right now.
Okay, so they've all kind of taken a stab at. And who did you say sent you? It was someone at work?
Just like someone I talk to sometimes at work, but not really like hang out outside of work.
Okay, so she how would you say your relationship with her? Like, would you consider her a friend, or do you just consider her kind of like a coworker?
Like a work friend, I guess, like just in work.
Just at work?
Or at work, yeah.
Do you guys? Oh, you've only been there a couple years, but so she's really only seen you at this point in your life, not really beforehand. Have you guys, like during the 2 years, have you guys done anything outside of work at all, or just kind of
really? No.
Okay, so just co-workers. Okay. What do you think made her kind of notice the whole situation, where she noticed your drinking was getting bad?
Sometimes I would come to work like not completely drunk, but a little bit, and she'd notice, and then that's when she would talk to me and find out what was going on.
Was there times that you were sent home from work then?
Yeah, and then it got to the point where they don't want me at work until I get everything together.
And that's kind of why you're here today? Right, okay. So after going over maybe everything that we've talked about, we're going to try and maybe talk about some goals together. We'll maybe look for 3 goals. If you had, I know you don't really see it as an issue, but maybe they can just be little like personal goals for yourself that you want to maybe see yourself accomplish, and we can make maybe a short-term goal, like a medium goal, and like a long-term goal. Maybe we'll say the next like 4 weeks, a month. What's maybe one goal that you want to try and set for yourself? It could be maybe cutting back from 7 days a week to 6 or 5.
Yeah, something like that.
That would be
okay.
That would maybe be a good first goal for you. Okay, I'll write that one down. Okay, so your first goal would be cutting back on drinking. Okay. So then if you had to think of maybe a longer term goal, like maybe in the next, say, 6 months, where would you kind of want to see yourself?
Not spending as much money on alcohol.
Okay. So when you talk about not spending as much money, so you want to try and cut back, like in the next 6 months, come back completely, or you just want to maybe cut down the days more than just the one?
More than just the one.
How many, like in the next 6 months, what would you want to try and do? What would your goal be?
Maybe like 3 or 4 days.
You only drink 3 or 4 days? Okay. And then we'll think of like a long term goal. Maybe like 3 years, like not 3, maybe 1 year from now. Where would you want to see yourself in terms of maybe work or relationship with your mom, stuff like that?
Definitely back to work and being able to work again.
Okay.
And go to a rehab facility.
Okay. Because the way you've kind of talked, like your work really doesn't want to see you at work until they've seen changes in your life. So that's always stuff that we can. Oh, write this down. Changes in your life. That's something that we can always talk about. Maybe when you're open to it, we can always make another session and we can go into some maybe different treatment options for you, whether it be you coming here twice a week or once a week to maybe talk with me and make, hopefully we can go over some like coping mechanisms, because maybe there's definitely reasons behind the drinking, so we'll definitely want to figure out that. And then we can also look at maybe intake centers or Alcoholics Anonymous, like stuff like that, rehab centers, and then hopefully get you back to work and to a point where you, like in life, where you, like to a point where you're happy again, right? How are you feeling now, like about your life and how kind of everything's situated right now?
Still the same, but like looking like a little bit forward, I guess, of trying to see how things work out and go.
Yeah, like because you do want to see it get better. Okay. So you're kind of like, we started off the sessions, you maybe weren't open to it, but now after kind of talking about all the areas of your life, you see that maybe a little, maybe not completely change, but we'll start slow. That's something you might be open to. Okay, that's great. To change. So today's, I'll write this down, November 30th. I know that it was your coworker that kind of recommended it, but would you be open to maybe having another session with me next week? We could try and figure, maybe I can look at my phone. Maybe December 6th at 12:30. Would that be okay? Okay. Well, I think we made a really good first step in maybe identifying, for me personally, just getting to know a little bit more about you and the situation around the drinking, and then hopefully going forward we can just build off this session and we can hopefully make you happy again. Okay?
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you for taking the time today.